Hello, this is Benjamin Williams coming at you guys again with another Boson NetSim troubleshooting lab. Today we're going to be troubleshooting Gateway Load Balancing Protocol, or GLBP. So the objective in this lab, you will troubleshoot a Gateway Load Balancing Protocol environment. Gateway Load Balancing Protocol is a first high redundancy protocol, FHRP, that could be used to ensure the immediate and transparent recovery from first hop failures in network edge devices by providing gateway redundancy for IP networks. So we have our lab topology right here. Have our ISP router, have router 1, router 2, router 3, and then an A switch. So based on this lab, I'm guessing that all of these, well, I know that all of these PCs, if all of these routers right here are configured with Gateway Load Balancing Protocol, they should use a round robin algorithm. So PC1 will use R1, PC2 should use R2, and PC3 should use R3 in a round robin fashion. So we have all of our commands right here, all of our descriptions. I've already read through all of those. We have our IP address table right here. And then we have our lab task. So we're going to be doing all of our CLI configurations down here at the bottom window. We have our topology in the top left, and then we're going to be reading from our top right. So ticket number 1, it says troubleshoot PC connectivity to the ISP. So it says a new Gateway Load Balancing Protocol device, R3, was recently added to a working GLBP topology. Since the addition of R3, you have noticed that none of the hosts on the network are using R3 as a default gateway to the destinations that lie beyond the network. You have been asked to verify the problem, troubleshoot the problem, and repair the configuration. So let's go on R1. Well, let's just go on R3 first and see what is going on here. So let's do an enable. Let's do an enable. So I clicked on another window, and let's do a show GLBP. So let's see what's going on. So it looks like we're using a virtual IP address of 10.10.10.25. It looks like there's no standby router, so that's not good. And we're using group number 100. Okay, so let's look at R2. We know R2 and R1 are supposed to be configured correctly. So let's do a show GLBP here. So we have group 10, so that may be the problem. This says group 100. This one says group 10. So that's probably the problem. They have the same virtual IP address of 10.10.10.25. This one has the standby router is local, so it has a router that's in charge, which is probably show GLBP. This should be our active virtual, what do they call this? It has active virtual forwarders, but this is our actual router that's in charge of distributing the round robin. I forget what they call it. I think it's an AVG, if I'm not mistaken. Active Virtual Gateway. Yes, that's this router right here. This is our active virtual gateway. Preemption is enabled. It's using the right virtual IP address, state of active. So perfect. So let's go over to R3. Let's go into global configuration mode, and then interface configuration mode for the fast Ethernet 03 interface. And we need to change this configuration. Did I spell Ethernet wrong? Oh, it's not a fast Ethernet. It's just a regular Ethernet. So Ethernet 03. And then let's go into GLBP. And we want GLBP group 10. No, let's just first remove our old configuration. So no GLBP group 100. And let's do an IP of, what is it? 10.10.10.25. So we want to remove that configuration. And let's do a GLBP 10 IP of 10.10.10.25. And it should work. So it looks like bad authentication. So we need to put in the right authentication that all of the other routers are using. But it's showing it's active because it doesn't see the authentication string being the same. So what is our authentication string? We need to figure that out. So let's do a do show run. Oh, we're already in privilege exec, so we don't have to do the show. I mean the do. Let's do a do show. Not a do show. This is show run. Let's see. This is our key string, so it is my 80 $0NL485. Let's copy that and let's do a GLBP group 10, and let's do a authentication. We want to do an MD5. We want to do a key string of what we just said, and let's hit enter. And we should stop getting those bad authentication messages, hopefully. No, we're not stopping. So maybe I entered something wrong, or was it an MD5? I could have sworn I copied this and pasted it. Let me do a let's do a show run over here. Huh. Maybe I typed it wrong. All right, let me copy this. Well, these messages keep popping up. Let me up arrow my 80 $. Looks like everything is correct. Not sure. MD5 my 80 MD5 my 80 485. That's the issue. All right, it didn't have the 5 at the end. Had to figure that out. So let me do a node GLBP 10 auth key string auth MD5 key string my 80 $0NL48, and that will remove the old one that we had. So but now these messages are coming back. Are they coming back? No, I didn't. Okay, let me just put that there. Maybe I didn't have to remove what I just did. Okay, so let's just leave it like it is now. So let's try to get out of our network. So what is ISP? Let's see the ISP loopback 0 interface. So we're going to try to ping that from the PC one. So let's do a ping to 203.0.113.56. And we're getting that address from right here. Loopback 0 on our ISP. So let's ping out and see. Well, let's do a trace RT so we can see the route that this is taking. So let's do a trace RT, the 203.0.113.56. So this is using R1 10.10.10.1. Let's do a trace RT here. Trace RT to 203.0.113.56. This is using R2. And let's try here. Let's do a trace RT to 203.0.113.56. And the moment of truth, we can see that R3 is now up and on the network and is forwarding like it's supposed to, because PC3 is now taking R3, because with GLBP, everything by default is it goes in a round robin algorithm. So PC1 took R1, PC2 took R2, and PC3 took R3. So I think we fixed the first problem. It says troubleshoot GLBP failover. You had tested GLBP active virtual forwarding failover. R3 should take over as the active virtual failover or active virtual forwarder for R1's virtual media access control address if the line protocol between R1 and the ISP goes down. If R3 does not take over for the active as the active virtual forwarding when the line protocol between R1 and the ISP goes down. Troubleshoot and repair the configuration. So let's go on to R1. Let's test this out. Let's go into global config mode, and let's shut down the, well, let's just do a do show track to see if we're tracking anything first. So we're not tracking any interface. So let's do a do show GLBP brief. No, we don't want the brief. Let's just do a do show GLBP. Let's just do a do show run first. Want to see something. So it looks like we're tracking a object of number 1 here, and we're supposed to be decrementing it by 10, and it says here that it's tracking the way it has a upper level of 100 and a lower level of 91. So I think the only problem may be that I don't see a track 1 when I did the do show track. Let me do a do show GLBP, see what happens. Let's see if we're tracking here. So it says track object 1 undefined. So that may be the problem. We don't have a track 1 actually defined, because when I do a do show track, nothing's popping up. So let's do a track 1, and let's track the interface of Ethernet 03. I believe that should be the interface that we're tracking. Let me make sure. Yeah, so we should be tracking the Fast Ethernet 03 interface. Okay, and I didn't finish the command, so we need to track the line protocol. Perfect. So now let's do a do show GLBP and see if that's still undefined. So it's not undefined anymore. It says our track object number 1 state is up, and it'll be decremented by 10. So let's try this now. Let's go to exit. Let's go into interface Fast Ethernet 03. Okay, not Fast Ethernet, but just Ethernet 03. And let's do a shut. Well, is it Fast Ethernet 03 or Fast Ethernet 00? Because this is, maybe we need to be tracking Fast Ethernet 00, but we're lowering Fast Ethernet 03. Let me make sure. Let me go up here. Let me just check my config out. Let me make sure I'm tracking the right thing. So I think I did the wrong track. So let's exit. And let's do a no track Ethernet 03. I think we need to track Ethernet 00. So let me go back here and put a no in front of this command after it stops kind of glitching. Boson's always a little bit glitchy. Not sure if the actual CLI of real routers is like this, but Boson can be a little glitchy sometimes. Let's go interface Ethernet 00 line protocol. I think that's the one we want to track. And let's hit exit, and let's go into interface Ethernet 00, and let's do a shut. See what happens. Yep. So that's what we wanted. I had to change that. I had to think about it. So we want to track the Fast Ethernet 00 interface on R1, because if we look right here in the top left, that's the interface that actually connects up to the ISP. before we did the fast Ethernet 03, which that would have been wrong. So we corrected that. So now it looks like our AVF was took over by 10.10.10.3, which is R3, which is what we wanted. Right here it says if R3 does not take over as the AVF when the line protocol between R1 and ISP goes down, troubleshoot and repair the problem. So it looks like we repaired the problem. And then you can see right here it took over from the listening state to the active state for the fast Ethernet 03. So if we do a do show GLBP brief down here, we can see that, well, let's see what's going on here. This is R3. And it is the active virtual forwarder for R1 right here, as you can see. This is R1's virtual MAC address. It's taking over for that MAC address as the active virtual forwarder. It's also the active virtual forwarder for its own virtual MAC address. It's in a listening state for R2, just in case R2 goes down. And this is the init state right here for the active virtual gateway, it looks like, because R1 is now down. It's fast Ethernet 00 interface is now down, so it's transitioned. All of it should be in the init state. Let's do a do show GLBP, well, do show GLBP brief, and well, it's still showing as the active. So maybe I did something wrong. No, it's still the active virtual gateway, but it's just not an active virtual forwarder. That won't be preempted. So the active virtual gateway won't be preempted, but the active virtual forwarder can. So it's in the listening state right here. So let's hit grade. And looks like we got something wrong on R3. So let's take a look. R3, it wants us to have GLBP 10 preempt. So it should preempt it and become the active virtual gateway. So let's do a GLBP 10. Was it 10 or 100? No, it's 10 preempt. And I think it wants me to remove the 100 configuration. So no GLBP 100 preempt, no GLBP 100 preempt. You get rid of that old config. All right, now let's hit grade, and everything is now correct. So we troubleshooted gateway load balancing protocol in this lab right here. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.